Hey everybody, Andrew here. Welcome back to Engines of the Pere Marquette, and today I'm going to talk about the Moguls. There isn't much to say about the Moguls, and I originally decided to put the consolidations in the episode too, but I decided to give them their own separate video since they have too much to unpack for a two-way episode. With all that said, let's get started. Upon its formation in 1900, the Pere Marquette Railroad inherited a fleet of 148 440 Americans, 22 460 10-wheelers, 42 260 Moguls, and 25 060 switchers from its constituent companies. Almost immediately, they were quick to start modernizing their fleet with the purchasing of 28 of their own 10-wheelers from 1902 to 1903 and 22 Atlantics from 1901 to 1905 for use on passenger trains. But the first Pere Marquette locomotives that were built after its formation were 24 Moguls from 1900 to 1904. In 1900, the Pere Marquette was credited for building their first ever steam locomotives, making them one of few US railroads to ever build their own locomotives, though it is likely that they were rebuilds from their predecessors' locomotives. The numbering scheme is a bit slapdash, but not as much as their passenger-assigned four leading wheel counterparts of the early 1900s. This pair of Moguls were designated as M2s and numbered 228 and 229. Going between the inherited 260s sharing the same designation and the M1s. The pair of rebuilt M2s weighed over 91 tons total and were 53 feet 10 inches long. They had 16,300 pounds of tractive effort, a fuel capacity of 9 tons of coal and 3,900 gallons of water, a grade area of 16 square feet, a total heating surface of 1,258 square feet, 56-inch driving wheels, 17.5 by 24-inch cylinders, slide valves, Stephenson valve gear, and 150 psi boilers. But the Moguls that came next proved better than that. In 1900, the Pere Marquette ordered 4 Moguls numbered 215 to 218 from Brooks, and 15 more numbered 200 to 214 in 1904. They were all given the designation M. Meanwhile, in 1903, the Pere Marquette bought 3 Moguls from Cook. These were designated as MMs, or double M's for the Brits, and numbered 219 to 221. Interestingly, the numbers 210 to 214 were originally given to the 5 inherited Moguls of the M1 class, but they were renumbered to 223 to 227 in 1903 to make way for the 1904 batch of Moguls. The 22 purchased Moguls only used letters in their designations, compared to the inherited ones using letters and numbers, along with the rebuilt/built 228 and 229. The 1901 and 1904 M's were very similar in specifications, sharing the same 28,000 pounds of tractive effort, 57-inch diameter driving wheels, piston valves and Stephenson valve gear, 200 psi boilers, grade areas of 31.5 square feet, and 19 by 26-inch cylinders. However, the 1904 M's had 8 more inches of heating surface compared to 1900 feet on the 1901 M's. The biggest difference was the tenders. Engines 215 to 218 used 12-ton, 5,000-gallon tenders, while 200 to 214 had smaller, 12-ton, 4,500-gallon tenders. As a result of this, the 1901 M's were 61 feet 8.5 inches long overall, compared to 51 feet 10.5 inches for the 1904 M's. Compared to the M's, the double M's were larger in physical stature. They weighed 148 tons total and were 62 feet 3/4 of an inch long overall. The MMs had a tractive effort of 28,000 pounds, a fuel capacity of 12 tons 7,000 gallons, a grade area of 30.7 square feet, a combined heating surface of 2,365 square feet, 62-inch driving wheels, 200 psi boilers, 20 by 26-inch cylinders, slide valves, and all-free Hubble valve gear. This valve gear used independently opening exhaust valves to produce a bigger exhaust opening and a delayed compression closure. This resulted in better performance of the slide valves, but it never gained prominence as the slide valve had phased out by 1900. By the time the Pere Marquette was formed in 1900, Moguls had become obsolete on most US railroads, but that wasn't the case for the PM. The M's were rated for 6,500 tons on level track and 1,875 tons on 0.5% inclines. With an adhesion factor of 4.4 to 5, they were capable of accelerating rapidly on short trains. As seen from the images in the book, the Moguls apparently had their looks modernized later on and had the old headlights replaced with centered ones. In addition to their new Moguls, the Pere Marquette also bought 6 more Moguls from the Lake Erie and Detroit Railroad in 1903 and had them numbered 813 to 818. But they were relatively small and dating as far back to 1880, and they were all scrapped by 1917. Meanwhile, the 22 purchased and pair of rebuilt PM Moguls were assigned to pull freight trains mostly in the state of Michigan where the PM trackage was located. During the 1920s, all of the new Pere Marquette Moguls were fitted with arch tubes, which gave them an additional 15 square feet of heating surface. Also during that time, they had their old Belpaire fireboxes rebuilt with radial stay bolts, and engines 201 to 202 and 211 to 213 were fitted with superheaters. From 1922 to 1926, the rebuilt M2s were scrapped, while the rest of the new Pere Marquette Moguls continued on in freight service. During their careers, the M's and double M's were eventually accompanied by bigger and newer 280 Consolidations, 282 Mikados, and 210-2 Santa Fe types. A few of them even lived to see the arrival of the railroad's Berkshires, the largest and most famous locomotives of the Pere Marquette. Other than that, the Moguls' careers weren't as eventful as the other types of PM locomotives. When the Great Depression came, the Pere Marquette began to scrap the remainder of their aging locomotives, including the Atlantics, 10-wheelers, 060s, and Moguls. But unlike the other antique PM locomotives, all of which were gone by 1934, 4 Moguls survived beyond 1934, with the rest, including all of the double M's, having been scrapped by then. 2 Moguls, numbers 211 and 212, were fitted with 6 RF tenders sometime before their retirements. In 1939, the 212 was scrapped, leaving 3 Pere Marquette Moguls, numbers 204, 211, and 213 left in existence. This made these the only PM Moguls, as well as the company's oldest locomotives to participate in the World War II traffic surge. They got to work during the golden days of the Pere Marquette's last steam giants, an adventurous privilege their falling siblings, the 460s and 442s, didn't get to have. But eventually, just like a lot of other Moguls before them, the last of the Pere Marquette Moguls were scrapped for the war effort in 1944, as they were more worth scrapped than antique machines. While the Moguls may not have had a career that was as clean as the Atlantics and Pacifics, nor as eventful as the larger freight engines that replaced them, they still deserve as much respect and attention, especially for lasting longer than any other antique Pere Marquette locomotive, and even into World War II, and they will always be remembered in the history book of the Pere Marquette Railroad, the railroad that gave us the locomotive that became the real Polar Express. Well, that does it for this episode of Engines of the Pere Marquette. Shortest episode in the playlist so far. This will also conclude the first episode of my build-up to the Berkshires. Subscribe to my channel and activate notifications so that you won't miss a future upload, including the next episode where I will talk about the Consolidations, and the episode after that where I will talk about the Mikados. More info on the future of this playlist will be given out in future episodes. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If so, drop a like on it, and even share it on other social media platforms. I'm Raila, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.